So, welcome and have a wonderful day, I hope. Today is the 28th, I think, no, 27th of July. It's this summer vibe where you don't anymore which day it is or what time of the day, even sometimes. And today we're going to talk a little bit about summer things, oils that will help you to protect yourself against any kind of invaders so that you can still enjoy nature. And I have a special guest here today, Irina Schurov, that is a friend and a colleague of mine, works also with the essential oil. She's a healthy brain specialist, works with nutrition. She's an autism coach. And you also work with gut, balancing the gut to help the brain. Is that correct?
That's right, yeah.
Yeah, so I can't wait to hear from you a little bit. First, I'm going to quickly just introduce a couple of things that I thought were very important, because Irina and I just had a quick chat before we recorded, and I've noticed there's so much fear going around at the moment to go into nature because of the insects. Insects, ticks, and they do, here in Switzerland, we are almost everywhere nowadays in a red zone. So the ticks can be vectors of disease. That's absolutely clear, and we're not at all denying that. But I always feel sad almost when I hear that people they're afraid to go into nature because of that. And so we thought, today, I'm going to show you a couple of things that you can do so that you can still go into nature and still enjoy that, just with the right protection. And so for that idea I also got because my dad, who loves going for walks with the dog, and called me the other day in such a panic because his wife had a tick on her head and also went into a complete state of panic. And he's like, no, we can't even go into the garden anymore. And that is where I thought, okay, I've got to come up with a good idea and recipe for this. And so I decided to make an anti-tick and anti-insect balm. Mm-hmm. If you have a look, I've posted it today in the A-Team chat, the research article from PubMed about essential oils and ticks, which is always interesting to do, to quickly do a little research on what oils are good for this. Are there any studies? And I found one straight away, which showed great results, really great results. And so why not add this to your regime? And for example, for me, the easiest way is to make a balm. Other people love to make a spray or a roller with a combination of oils, and some of the most powerful were clove, thyme, citronella, and especially in this combination. So it was more powerful to combine the oils than to have single oils. It went up to 83% efficacy in protection against ticks. So that's a lot. And if we cover the rest more or less, you know, and then put the balm. I use that balm almost like a body lotion. So it's already on the skin. You can even rub a little bit all around the hairline so that it's there. And then you can make little jars so that you can have that with you when you're outside, and just, it's like a hand cream. And the rest you can put over your pet. You know, the leftover balm is great to put over your pet. And so I will post the balm recipe soon. But if you don't want to wait for this, then you can just use TerraShield, because TerraShield is a pretty incredible insect repellent. Go and research this one too, and check the research on TerraShield, but also because it has vanilla absolute in it. So vanilla binds odors. Vanilla is one of the most earth tonifying oils there is, because it's so, it just gives you this feeling of one big hug. Yes, there is some people that don't love vanilla, but those who love vanilla really experience it as something extremely comforting. And to have a insect repellent that has that as a base, rather than this, usually it's always citronella, it's always lemongrass or odors like this. But here you have a very different way of having an insect repellent. So I'm going to make my own balm, and I'm going to make a balm with just TerraShield, so I can test both. And I really wanted to share that with you because I think that's important. Good. So from here, I would like to ask you, Irina, to maybe if I forgot anything in your introduction, if you would like to add that, or if you want to share with us a little bit, how do you work with the oils, how they benefit your practice and your patients or family? And yeah, that would be fantastic to hear.
Yeah, no, I think introduction was very good. Thank you so much. So that was very kind of you. Yes, I do indeed work in my practice lots of time with the children of different age, and as a result, of course, the family, because working with the children, we have to work with the parents, and so the parents need to be convinced, and they need to implement everything we sort of advise them. So that's why the solutions should be quite straightforward and simple. And I found the doTERRA oils can be very, very helpful in this case, because somehow it's for people, it makes more sense to, and I think in general, especially in Europe, so the people understand what essential oils are. You don't need to explain. So they somehow just got it some way. If they don't use it, somebody else been using or somebody mentioned before. So when you give them perfect kind of combination and solution for their issues with the specific recipes, combination of oils or a blend, so I think they're quite open to use it. Maybe not all the time, like 3-4 times a day, but they start slowly and really sort of like it in most of cases. So I'm working very often with the children with the different sort of neurological conditions, hyperactivity, autism, and just general emotional overload. And especially right now during the COVID period, we're all a little bit, you know, emotionally overload. So anxiety is a big topic all the time. So that's kind of people I'm dealing with at different levels. So from this perspective, of course, I'm using and suggesting using oils as a calming, sort of soothing recipe. So obviously the lavender is always come handy. So I always suggest to do like a you know, evening routine for adults and for children. So to prepare themselves for to have a good sleep night, because that's very important for all of us. So, and you know, the lavender and like serenity or chamomile, something become very handy. So that I suggest people using in bath directly. So you can put it in a salt and then you can put it in a bath, or you can do you know, massage, feet massage. For children who really sort of are emotionally overwhelmed. So I also suggest to use the oils when they come from the school, so the parent can put it here on the bottom of the skull and just a massage along the spine as well. So that's kind of calming oils. So getting more and more popular, sort of using it for younger kids, because again, you know, the kids are stressed already since they're born. And the parents really feel like the baby, you know, especially if it's a second child or the third one. So it's amazing how they see the difference. So, that stress, you know, you really, they learn to notice it early and early, not just because maybe kids, the early kids didn't have it, but I think the parents becoming more, you know, they're more experienced and notice more things. So, and for babies, what I would suggest to use up to 3 years old, use their single oils rather than the blends, because their olfactory system is developing. So the mixed combination of the oils can be very confusing for actually brain development and sensory system development. Mm-hmm. So that's something interesting to notice and remember.
But with the smaller the kit, the more to dilute. I think that's
yes, and more dilution as well. I think there is a up to, again with the newborn, I think it's 0.25% solution. solution,
Yeah.
between 1 and 2 years, 0.5 solution, and then 1% solution. So that's very important because it has to be very diluted, of course, the product. But it's also very effective for, you know, healthy kids, and when they're going through the just sudden temperature rise, because again, it's normal, so the immune system is shaping off. So it's very effective to bring the temperature down. And what I found is interesting, when the temperature is rising and you feel kind of that shivering, so you're cold, you rather use warm oils like rosemary, chamomile, the cinnamon, very effective. So because then we regulate that temperature. So, but when you hot, then you use like something like a peppermint. So that's very interesting. And you can put in a bath, and you can again do it with the, you know, dilute it with the carrier oil, and just massage in the neck and behind the ears and feet and things like that. So it's been very effective. People really like that approach.
And it really empowers parents, it seems to me. Like, it gives me the feeling that it's, unfortunately, when my children were small, I didn't have the oils. I wasn't introduced to the oils yet. And sometimes when I think now, it gives you something into your hand you can do straight away. You can have it in your home, ready to use whatever happens. And, you know, for the little things, of course, or to support someone through the big things.
Yeah. And again, it's amazing how the people now can use it from, you know, both up to any age. And this is what I think is amazing. So just understanding, so the concentration can be different, application can be different, but in principles, it's very safe products to use. And from anything like ear infection, when again, I suggest some oils like lavender, tea tree, deep blue, because it's anti-inflammatory, just to put on a cotton wool and put it in your ears for the child to sleep with that during the night. It's making really wonder. And you know, the ear infections, otitis, quite again the common infections nowadays, and they actually very often happened in the children who've got digestion issues and actually neurological conditions as well, because it's all interconnected. All these infections, they just wandering around. So the making immune system is very weak in these children. So they're catching up, and all these infections recurring. So
we usually take antibiotics again and again.
Exactly. And this is very common. And we never kill that bacteria when we take antibiotics, but we're making our, you know, the immunity is really weaker and weaker. So that's why we have a pandemic like that. It's just a general population have a very unstable and not very strong immune system. So, and what I also say, I've been successful using some sort of, again, the oils for children like, you know, with hyperactivity, for even the speech delay. There is a certain, you know, moms who really prone to use oils for supporting speech development and things like that.
Wow, interesting. I have no idea about that.
Yeah, there is combinations being advised. I'm still sort of experimenting with them because, of course, it's not like a massive experiment, but we can see it might contribute to help children to develop speech as well. What is also interesting, because I'm doing sort of a theoretical assessment of the test of left and right hemisphere balance, and very often with the children who got hyperactivity or some sensory issues, emotional instability, so that balance not there. So, and the part of that olfactory system is not in a balance. So do the assessment for that. I'm using essential oils as an assessment of olfactory system, and if it's stable or not. So just using the different oils. So on a certain distance, the child's supposed to, it's like a game basically, but it's recognizing or not recognizing the smell. So how, close you have to bring that smell, that child recognize. And by, if it's the system is not balanced, then we do some exercises training the olfactory system to recognize it. So that contributes to reducing picky eating, because obviously our smelling system really connected with the taste buds in the mouth, very close. So they all, you know, suddenly start to eat much more products because they recognize better taste. So they're not afraid anymore. So the picky eating is decreasing.
That's fantastic. That is so cool. I had no idea of that use of the oils.
That's amazing.
Thank you so much for sharing this. I think that's brilliant. And it makes totally sense when you say it. And also it makes me think of how I appreciate doTERRA's philosophy of purity, because then at least we don't have to even worry about that side of it. As both working in as therapists with people, we need a product that we can rely on.
You can trust, yeah.
Yeah, and just trust that it is the best quality that you need, especially for little people. I mean, also for big people, I think, but especially the smaller the person, the more the purity is even more important. And so that is, yeah, tell me more.
Well, I mean, yeah, for kids who kind of experience emotional burst out and huge anxiety, as I said, that can be very very useful as well. So again, I'm using different combination, but what's been working really well, so again, the chamomile, the balance, and lavender. So these three, so in combination, and again, you can
chamomile, balance, lavender.
Lavender, yeah.
You know what? I'm gonna try a balm with that.
Yeah, sure.
I can't help it. I have to, everything for me to bring a blend together. If I see it in a balm and I can put it on the skin like this, that's that's really
a good way to apply, I think, and that's definitely I would something to share. And I mentioned before for the support of speech development, one of the ingredients that looks like working quite well, it's copaiba oil. Yes, it's quite a powerful one. So for supporting central nervous system in general, that's a good oil to keep in this kind of blends and mixes for children and adults. I'm very pleased to say that, as you know, my daughter had a sort of the issues with endocrine system and had a very painful periods, and you were advised to use the Clarisage, and Claricam was, you know, it's making wonder. It's really, really helping. It's so quick because it's just amazing. It's just you know, it's like works in seconds. This is amazing. And especially when we travel, when we, you know, have a complicated situation, when you just can't relax or any, so, you know, you've got a, you know, very quick tool in your pocket, doesn't matter what, so you just can apply it and have an impact straight away.
Even sometimes opening the bottle and smelling is already enough. It's
it depends on the situation, of course. Yeah, absolutely. So that's a very great one.
In regards to teenagers, do you also work with teenagers? What's your main group of age that you meet more?
I work through the sort of from babies up to the young adults. So, but pre-teenage age, very sort of common, sort of something 10, 12 years. So, and again, you know, they already start experience certain symptoms, and it's kind of building up and adding to emotional situation, because everything, you know, is changing nowadays, and children get more mature, more, you know, faster. So I think overall, I think if we take the 100 years of the period, so our kids now have a puberty an average 10 years earlier. It's huge. It's huge. So some children start to show the signs very, very early.
And a psychiatrist I was speaking to recently said to me that it starts earlier and it lasts until like 35, 40.
Right.
But it also lasts long. It is that much more people stay home much longer, all of this. So
Yeah.
I think we definitely need emotional support in this world.
Yeah, because there is lots of endocrine issues in the society because again, the chemical soup we're living in. So whatever the tools we can provide to support that people really appreciate.
Yeah.
And especially if it's easy to implement.
Yeah, that's so true. I mean, I see that in my clinic too. The easy to implement is the key, because otherwise it helps nothing. If I prescribe people expensive, very expensive Chinese herbs that they have to cook and take 3 times a day, there will be like 1% who ends up doing it.
Exactly. If the people, it should be sustainable.
Yeah.
Majority, and again, maybe some very driven will do the complex things, but majority people wouldn't be able to do it.
Yeah.
So what I also wanted to share, because again, the things I'm doing and the toxicity, which have a huge impact on neurological conditions, but on other systems as well, this is mold. So because the mold, we sometimes just kind of ignore and we think we just clean a little bit, but especially when the people live in the older houses, so it can be kind of nasty thing to get rid of. So, and in a wet and warm places like calves, I've seen the bathrooms, of course, the kitchens, behind the sink somewhere. There is lots of potential source of nasty mold. So it's very good to generate and just to use the spray again with the essential oils, just to spray around, spray your bathroom, maybe even in the air, just to make sure you can minimize these mycotoxins which that mold just produce like a spores, and they just float around.
Right.
So especially especially when it's raining like that, and the places where the dump accumulating very quickly. I mean, there is lots of research which show where the people live in a dump and with the mold, they've got lots of issues, neurological conditions, depressions, and many other things. But especially the children prone for that because they don't have a mature detoxification system, so they're affected by toxins much more than adults. So that's why I think it is very important just to do that assessment and use that tools, which again, non-toxic and very effective. I think there is a recipes of the blend available, but definitely tea tree, oregano, thyme, that's kind of oil. They can be very effective. And they smell nice and it's easy to use. And you need to wash it away. You just spray around and leave it. So the oil's doing their job. So next time you step in your shower, you don't need to worry about extra toxicity in the different cleansing solutions and things like that.
You could even add some baking soda and vinegar or something like that, fill up with water, add the oils, and then just spread, because I just thought about a corner in my shower where every time it keeps coming back.
Yes,
and so
very difficult to get rid of.
Yeah, very difficult. And it's a new house, so it's not even an old house.
Yeah, so the only thing, you just to keep it under control at least, so that it doesn't spread and it doesn't start to produce these spores. So that's important.
Thank you for this reminder.
Yeah.
And what do you think about the oils affecting the microbiome?
All right. Well, of course.
I know it's a big subject, but I just thought if I have you here, I want to ask you this question.
Is my favorite. Yes, the microbiome is a huge one, and especially dysbiosis is very and
you don't have to go deep. You don't have to go. We can do that on another call if you like. Yeah. But if you just give an overview how you feel that it's affecting our microbiome when we, also take the oils internally now and then.
Well, I mean, of course, antibacterial and oils, which quite good because they don't kill good bacteria. They just attacking the bad stuff. And I've been quite successful using. I've got some anti-Candida sort of solutions for that. Again, the Candida is a yeast which is very difficult to get rid of. And
I mean, in Chinese medicine, that is just the same as the external damp. We call this. That's just internal damp.
Internal damp, like yeah. And causing lots of, I mean, the Candida, just a singly, it's producing about 170 different toxins inside of our body. So it's very important to assess the level of Candida if you've got certain symptoms, and then really deal with it obviously in a sort of a holistic way, if possible, not with medication. And very effective.
We can add your contact, your website, so people can look you up and, you know, may contact you for a rendezvous because you work with people one-on-one.
We can do the assessment. There is a very good clinical test available. I really like to say that because when the people go to the doctor, sometimes they just say, no, I mean, you don't need to do it, or there is no good test. There is a good test. This is what is important to know. There is plenty of fantastic test, clinical test, which is easy to do. We can order it online. The DHL ship you kit to the door. We go through the very simple logistics. You collect your samples, send it away, and in 2 weeks' time, we have lots of information which you can take to any doctors because it's all certified, all the best labs in the world doing that. So this is really empowering people to not just decide and wait when your GP is saying something, sometimes not very clear information, because they also have a limited resources here, but you can investigate easily and understand why you experience that and that and that, and then we can choose the best solution for you or combination of solution, including essential oils, which definitely great ones for if you have a parasites, Candida, dysbiosis, or just general not very good or not very strong gut health. So in terms of many things, you know, it's
and do you usually work with people one-on-one, like you do online? And do you work over a specific amount of time, or does it take only a few times, or how do you normally work?
It's individual, it's very individual, but normally it takes few times because we just can't, you know, resolve any issues from you know, one visit. So I do my assessment, I do my Sherlock Holmes investigation of the situation, and then propose that, you know, action plan, which is individual and based on the people's situation and acceptance, what can be done, what can't be done. You know, it's very personalized approach I practice. And then we just see how it's following. So sometimes you need to see people or talk to people or support people on a weekly basis. Some people do really well and we just have like a monthly update. So it really depends again where you are and how you would like to give me your support. But I provide coaching because sometimes, as you know, for some people, they're not sure, they need reassurance, they need to a quick call to see if they're doing the right things.
So,
I'm sorry, I came a little bit late in the meeting. I'm sorry, what was your name?
Irina Schurov.
Oh, okay.
I'm sure Angela can share.
I can share. I will share her details. I will actually share this call in the WhatsApp chat today, you know, with the link, people can watch it, and then I put her details underneath because I think it's great information.
Okay, thank you very much.
You're welcome, Claudia.
Bye-bye.
I'm still here.
You can stay here.
And I just want to know, how long do you think it takes for someone to recover from Candida?
Again, it depends how general dysbiosis is, because Candida, we always have a little bit Candida. Yes. But the thing is, if you've got enough good bacteria, let's put it this way, so it's kind of keeping it under control. So, but if you've got very sort of big dysbiosis and the parasites, and your immunity in the gut is not very good. So again, this is something we can assess. So your mucus being damaged in the gut. So the Candida has like a party there, and so we need really to address it from different points of view. So bring back the balanced bacteria. So adjust your eating habits, because Candida love sugar. So, and that's why the people experience that sugar cravings very often because of the Candida. It's not the only reasons, but quite often it contributes to it. So, and the overall toxicity as well. So once you bring the Candida down, so we need to have some kind of detoxification protocol in a place as well to help you to get rid of that nasty stuff it's generated. So again, at every stage, oils can be very useful. Yeah.
And you think it takes a minimum a few months, doesn't it?
It's I'm using protocol which based on the 3 months, but in some cases, you need kind of continue maintenance, or maybe repeat it from time to time.
Oh, yes, that's
yeah. And also the thing with Candida is also that the consistency, isn't it, Irina? The consistency with the food and the oils is super helpful. Such a great support.
Exactly, because you can reduce it, but the maintain, that's what is important. So okay, I reduce it, but if you're going and start to eat junk food again, and it will be up very quickly, because we can't sterilize the gut. Candida is the first thing which will break down our body when we go back to earth, and we need it. So, it's always useful. Whatever we have, it's useful in teeny-weeny concentration, but when it's just, too much of it, it's already have a huge negative impact. So maintenance is important.
Yeah. Can the Candida impact your the pressure in your eyes?
It can be, because again, the toxicity, the toxins it's producing, it's actually traveling over the body, and it's affecting the brain, and it's affecting the pressure in eyes. There is some evidence for that as well. Yeah.
Okay.
So you will be in very good hands if you contact Irina, because she's a neuroscientist. So that's, that's her whole special area in a way. So perfect. So I'm so grateful you came and shared this information with us. Thank you so much for this.
You're welcome.
And we do this again, I would say.
No problems, with a pleasure.
Great. So does anybody else have a question or about anything else we talked about? If not, then we're going to say goodbye for today and see each other again next month. I'll do also one call in August, towards the end of August, and share more stuff that could be interesting for you guys. So if there's anything you want to hear more about, then post it below the call. We always are happy for any suggestions. So
thank you very much
for being here, and I'm wishing you a beautiful, beautiful summer.
Thank you. You too. Take care.